Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Leaving a Rich Legacy. I am your host, Jessica Rich, and I am super excited to have my guest, Deanna, here today with us to share a little bit about herself. As you all know, this podcast is a love letter to my younger self. So, we're talking about various topics that we don't often discuss in the Black and Brown community. Over the last few years, I've really been focusing on myself, and there's just so many things I wish I would have had a conversation with someone earlier, whether that was a child, a teenager, 20, or even my early 30s. But this podcast gives me an opportunity to have those conversations to hopefully bless the next generation, but then also have those conversations and bring knowledge to the other generations as well. So, Deanna, thank you so much for being with me today.
Yes, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yes. So, start off and tell us, who is Deanna? Tell us a little about yourself.
So yes, who is Deanna the person? So I'm a person who I love the simple things, but I love the finer things in life as well. I love anything that involves beauty and or wellness, which is why I entered to the field that I enter into. I'm a person that just loves to cook. I'm a person who loves to travel. So I'm also an ordinary woman and I have extraordinary dreams. So I'm a woman who works towards those dreams each and every day until those dreams become a reality. So for me, a goal of mine is to live my life where I can just utilize my time the way I would like to utilize my time to do the things I love to do in life. So as again, I work towards that literally each and every day. I work on my different legacies to one day leave all my legacies down to my children. So I'm a person who's I feel that I'm a person who's very authentic. I'm passionate about the things that I do. I'm passionate about who I am. I'm a person who is a bit sensitive and I wear my heart on my sleeve at times for people who truly know me. I'm a woman who I feel that is loyal. Sometimes it's to a fault. Sometimes can be to my detriment at times. But like as with anything, it's a learning curve. Life's a learning curve. I'm a person who shows up as their most authentic self. I say what I mean, and I mean what I say. I'm just a person who just works and makes it from day to day. Just like I said, just living in a big old world, just trying to make my mark inside.
So I love one, that's one of the questions that I enjoy. And I love when people can describe themselves. You probably have had the most detail, and that speaks volumes about the relationship you have with yourself, who you know you are outside of different hats that we may have to wear due to society or other responsibilities. So
Mhm.
I absolutely love that you are so in tune with who you are as a
Thank you.
person, because that is not always easy for everyone. So you
Mhm.
mentioned about the field and industry that you're in. What
Yes.
what industry are you in?
So I do have a couple of different businesses. I have one business. It's translated as Lady D's Beauty, but it's called Beauty de la Demandie. That's the brand. And I create by hand organic hair products. I started that back in 2008 after in 2007 that I graduated from cosmetology school and I wanted to make my mark in the beauty industry other than just being a traditional stylist in a salon. I wanted to do something different. So like I thought to myself, what else and what avenue can I break into the industry with? So that came to me and I started to do that. So I still have that to this day. So I did it for a number of years. So as time progressed, I went from just making beauty products for the hair, and I wanted to also incorporate wellness. Through a personal journey of mine, I developed a keen interest for wellness. And through research, I realized that hair growth or healthy hair growth has a lot to do with how we treat our bodies on the inside because and true beauty reflects from the inside out. So my brand began to offer wellness products as well that works on the inside that contributes to our beauty on the outside. I'm also a health and wellness coach that I became back in last year, 2023. And that came as a result of me being in my own personal health and wellness journey myself, in which I was able to naturally lose 80 pounds. And that was just solely contributed to just healthy eating habits and exercise and just keeping at it as best as I could, learning along the way. So I decided with those two avenues, I want to contribute to the beauty and the wellness of different women all over the world and just make everyone feel as beautiful as they can.
Love that. One, that wellness is a part of your beauty brand, and then also as a coach. So you mentioned you lost 80 pounds, which I've done that before. And I know it's a struggle because I'm gaining some of it back. And it is truly a journey, and it takes a mindset shift and a lifestyle shift. So, what inspired you to start living a healthier lifestyle and lose 80 plus pounds?
Well, the thing was, for me personally, over the years, I'll go back to say back in my college days when I was back in my, I guess, late teens, early 20s, I was a particular size on a smaller size. So as time progressed and as they say, life start life and things happen and then you just naturally gain weight and then not realize it just got to the point where it got a bit out of hand where I started to really literally feel it in my body, feel it on my body. And then I started noticing I was getting random aches and pains and wasn't really understanding where they were coming from. And then you really know when you've gotten to the point where the doctors kind of advise you and I guess the most professional way they can, all right, it's time to start losing weight because you're getting, I guess, borderline pre-diabetic and just other different health issues that you're becoming prone to as a result of being a certain size. So all those different things for me personally was kind of a wake-up call for me. I was like, okay, it's time for me to do something. So like many of us, we say, okay, we're gonna start this diet on such and such day, and it's going along well and smooth, and then all of a sudden we go back to our old habits, and next thing you know, we've completely just got off it. So I'm like, okay, and I've done that countless times. Same thing with going to the gym. You sign up for the gym, you get a gym membership, you start going, you're good, you're ready, and then all of a sudden you can't this day, you don't this day, and you fall off, and then you're back to square one. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to do something. So I think for me, it was just, and there wasn't no particular day or date. For me, it was just, all right, what can I do? I'm a person that loves to cook. And anyway, so the things I love to eat, I'm like, all right, maybe there's a healthier way of eating these things. So I'm like, okay. So I started doing a bit of research. Like, there gotta be a low calorie, low carb alternative to what I like to eat because I'm a person who loves pasta, for example. I love it. Like Italian food is one of my favorite foods. So I'm like, okay, it gotta be a healthier option with this. So I started researching and whatnot, and I realized there are healthy ways to cook certain foods. And then some things there aren't really a healthier option. You just gotta cut out altogether. But starting off, I started just changing my diet, which is incorporating lower, healthier alternatives to what I was currently eating. And the thing for me with the gym, I started rather than looking at the gym as a chore, I started like changing my mindset with it. I'm like, this maybe I can like if I really try to get into it, I can actually start enjoying working out. And after a while, that's exactly what happens. And I feel that now for me to not go to the gym, I feel like a fish out of water, as they say. So just for me, it just really just started with this not feeling my best self, but then it was just really just time for me to just really just change something so that way I could just literally just survive.
So thinking about all of that, right? You're making this lifestyle change, finding healthier habits. When you're not in the gym, right? It doesn't feel right. Throughout this process, do you find that you became more confident in yourself? Um, and were you confident, when you were heavier?
I would say I did not lack confidence when I was heavier. I always kind of felt that I had a pretty decent amount of confidence. But to be honest, I wasn't really truly happy on the inside when I was heavier because I knew for who I am and my body, the size that I'm normally rather should be. Like I said, I've been back in my 20s, the size I'm currently am now is the size I was at back in my college days and whatnot. So I knew that that's the size I'm supposed to be. And like I said, just years of not taking care of myself is the reason I got to where I've gotten to. So although I had the confidence back then, it wasn't the confidence that I have now because I knew deep down inside I was truly not happy with who I was.
Yes. So I think there's a foundation that we have to have when it comes to confidence. Like either you have it before or growing up or you don't. And
Mhm.
then sometimes we have those major life experiences like losing a significant amount of weight. If you were not confident before, it doesn't automatically happen just because you lost the weight and you got a different body. So I
Mhm.
was curious just to see how you adjusted to that and if it came naturally to you. So let me ask you this. You really focused on changing your lifestyle. You're now coaching people to do it.
Yes.
What did you do specifically to change your lifestyle to be a better version of yourself mentally, physically, and emotionally when it came with your weight loss?
Okay, so going back, starting with the physical aspect, as I mentioned, I changed my diet by incorporating healthy alternatives of the things I love to eat. And I've also incorporated a lot, and I still to this day, I try my best to eat I eat a lot of vegetables. I like to eat a lot of low carb foods. I'm a person who's in the gym and I'm building muscle. So I'm a person that I keep myself in a high protein diet. So I incorporate a lot of protein in my diet as well. So it's a lot of, because weight loss is, although that exercise is important, weight loss, about 80% of weight loss has to do in the kitchen. So it's about definitely changing your eating habits. So that's what has worked for me, and that's what works for me. And to this day, I'm always constantly searching and researching different foods I have not tried yet, or I have tried, but maybe try a different version of what I've cooked before, just to keep along the lines of healthy eating. So for me personally, in going back physically, is the healthy eating and as well as the exercise. In terms of, I would say mentally and emotionally, a lot in terms of becoming a better version of myself, I've also been mindful of the type of company that I keep because that's important as well. Whether you're on a health and wellness journey or whatever journey that it is that a person is on, one key factor of remaining focused is to be mindful of the company you keep because a person can either support you in your endeavors or depending on their intent, they can also distract you. So it's important to know who's around you, who's in your circle, who's encouraging you along the way as you're working towards being your better version of yourself. So I would say for myself, I'm very particular who I have around me, and that's very important, along with dieting and exercise. And I also purposely incorporate various forms of self-care to my everyday lifestyle, which a form of self-care is also healthy eating as well as exercise. And as I mentioned in the beginning, I love to travel. To me, that's an important form of self-care. I work hard, so I like to just travel and just enjoy myself. So that's just so self-care. I incorporate, like I mentioned, I love various forms of self-care to help in my healthy lifestyle.
I love to travel too, so I can see you're passionate about that. You're like, "I like to travel." Um, but I love that you talked about the physical piece, emotional, and mental, but I think there's something that a lot of us can take away, the distractions. Because unfortunately, family, friends, or individuals close to us can be a distraction when it comes to consistency and the results that we desire. So, did you ever find at some point that you had to let people go or distance yourself because it was so much of a distraction?
Absolutely, and I would go so far to say that that person or persons may not necessarily have done were being, I guess, a distraction intentionally. Maybe in their mind, they was trying to look out for me as best as they could or whatnot. But so sometimes you got to know what's best for you on the inside. And like I said, whether it's intentional or not, if another person isn't along that is aligning along with your path as to where you're going, that's considered a distraction. If what they're saying or doing is infiltrating your mind to the point that you now have a second guess as to what it is that you want to do, or if you can do it, it's time to just let it go. We all, at the end of the day, we all have a set time here on earth. And I believe that we all would love to enjoy our life as best as we could while we're here on time. So none of us have time to lose. None of us have time to waste when it comes to practically anything. We have to be mindful of every second that we have here on earth, every second that we breathe, and every move that we make, even every thought that we think. Because sometimes, if we're not careful, we can be a distraction to ourselves with negative thoughts, with outside influences, that media, whatever the case may be. We have to constantly remain focused on what it is that we're doing, so that way we can achieve that set goal.
That's a powerful point that we can be in a distraction to ourselves, regardless if we think so. We can absolutely be a distraction to ourselves. So you talked about like meal prepping, and I think that's a struggle for a lot of people, whether they don't know how to cook, they don't have the time to cook, or they really don't know what's the best meals to prepare. So
Mhm.
I just have to ask you, like, have you found fun ways to be consistent with meal prepping?
Well, yeah. So for me personally, because I am a person that loves to cook, so for that reason, it comes relatively more easier for myself. But I'm a person like, for example, and this is just what I like to do. When I said, as I mentioned, I love traveling. So one of my hobbies is when I travel, especially to a different country I've never gone before. I love to take a cooking class in that particular country. And the reason being is I learned to love the culture of that particular country through their food. So every time I take a different cooking class somewhere, I'm in the back of my mind, I'm taking away something from that class. Whether it's an ingredient that I've never used before, I've never tasted before, or even something I use every single day and just never prepared it in the way that I've prepared it before. My goal is to take something away from that class and use it for me, my everyday life. So because of that, that helps me in my efforts in terms of meal prepping. And like I said, besides that, I'm also looking online at different things that the other people cook as well. I'm like, that looks good. What's in this? Social media has played a huge part in that as well. That everyone, nowadays loves to upload where they at a restaurant, whatever it is, a good looking plate of food. So that plays a big role as well. So it became easy for me that because I have that desire to learn and I have that passion for food and cooking, I'm also creating innovative ways to meal prep. So meal prepping does take a lot of time. I will say that it's not something that can really be done in 5 minutes. So I structure my schedule that I have time set aside to meal prep for set amount of days each week. And then once that food, I guess, is over for that set amount of days, I'll meal prep again. And I usually do that for my breakfast, for my lunch, and for my dinner. So that way I know what it is that I'm eating that's going to be contributing to the lifestyle I'm trying to live. And meal prepping is very important when it comes to healthy living because, like I said, especially at the very beginning stages when a person is really trying to lose weight, calories are everything. And the way to weight loss is through a calorie deficit. And things that a person would not think have a lot of calories may have a lot of calories. So even things that you buy on the street, you think is healthy in terms of weight loss and weight loss goals. And unfortunately, I'm the first one to notice, come to find out it's not as healthy as we think. It's not helping us towards our goal. So meal prepping is definitely essential, and you just got to just carve the time out to do it.
So I love how you combine your travel experience with meal prepping. Never thought of that, but I think that's a great way to, if you don't like cooking or if you're looking to become a better cook or try new spices or dishes, like that is a perfect way to incorporate that. So I'm about to take note of that. I'm going to Thailand in August with 9 ladies, and we're taking a Thai cooking class, but the intentions was never because of what you shared, but I definitely have to look at that differently because I do love to travel, and that's something I need to add to my list. So thank you, because I do think a
Welcome.
lot of people struggle with meal prepping. So hopefully that inspires some other people as well.
Absolutely, and it's not in a different country. Even here locally, wherever a person may live in their state, I'm pretty sure there's cooking classes happening everywhere. There's always a way to learn how to cook if you don't want to go to YouTube University and learn how and do it yourself. There's always if someone's teaching somewhere how to cook. But when it comes to healthy living, meal prepping is essential. There's really no way around that.
Okay. So that ties me right into our next question. Talking about meal prepping, make it a lifestyle, finding things you enjoy with meal prepping. Nutrition is huge when it comes to making this a lifestyle and not just another diet. So, how can we be more intentional about focusing on the nutrition? I think you talked about like some things having carbs. How can we be more aware about nutrition and not just saying, I'm going to do this diet that's popular right now, but overall making the nutrition a priority?
Well, the thing is, it's a mindset. I'll start off there. Healthy living and is a mindset, and a person must be mindful of when it comes to it. It's not a destination in the sense of, okay, you get there, you made it to the finish line, and now it's over. It's a journey, it's continuous, it's ongoing. The only finish line in that sense is when you finish one layer, one level of it, and you're ready to advance to the next level of it to learn something that you haven't learned before. But it's a continuous journey. So, with that being said, what keeps a person focused on that journey is the first they must know themselves. They must know why it is they want to get on this journey. They must understand their why. Once they truly know and understand their why, focusing on that why is what's going to get them through the rough times. Even when we all have moments where we deviate, we fail, we eat something we should not eat, even though we know we should not eat it. It's just sometimes it's just human nature. We know what we shouldn't be doing and we do it. And there's also times where you feel like, okay, I work hard on a daily basis. I just want to eat this because I love it. I just want to enjoy myself. I don't want to always do the right thing in that sense all the time. I just want to have some fun. And that's understandable too, because I do it as well. But at the end of the day, I go back to my why. Why did I decide to get on this journey to begin with? And that why is what keeps me focused and keeps me on track. And once I know my why, I have to also remain consistent and remain dedicated to the why, and also discipline myself, because discipline goes a long way and is also essential when it comes to healthy living. Some things, as I mentioned before, you just simply can't have when you're changing your diet to live healthier, to eat better. There's no healthier option for you. You just got to get rid of it. And it's hard, harsh it may sound, that's the reality of it. But however long it may take, some things you just got to cut out. And you just got to be disciplined to the cause. And that comes from the inside.
Gotta be disciplined for the cause. And that discipline goes a long way and really makes a difference when you have the discipline and the consistency. So you talked about like knowing your why.
Mm-hmm.
Is there three things that helps you, just three things that you can think of that are like your top priority that help you stay consistent? Because I think that's where a lot of us may fall off. Like it's the consistency, but then also understand it's a journey. You fall, but you get back up. So is there three things that specifically helps you with being consistent?
Yeah, so like with any goal or like with any path in life, I feel number one, a person must first be adaptable. They must be open to change. They must be open to wanting to learn something new. They must be open to want to learn something that they have not done before without prejudging it. So then a person must be adaptable. They must be a person who wants to learn. A person must be coachable, including myself. We must be open to new possibilities. So that comes through again from just researching and just learning different things that you haven't learned before, and you're like, okay, I can start doing this. I never knew to do this to get to my weight loss journey, on my weight loss journey. So I can start doing this. So I say being adaptable is one thing. I would say number two is also being graceful, because even with this journey, it's not an easy journey with weight loss at all. We're going to make mistakes along the way. We must be grace. We must show ourselves grace. Quite often, especially if a person who's been trying for years, for example, to get their weight down and they have not been successful at it, they may after a while they start beating themselves over the head with it. Every little mistake they make from that moment they decide, okay, this is it. This is I'm gonna do it right this time around. And you can't do that because when you're really not showing yourself grace, you're really not learning anything new. You're just you're just basically making yourself feel worse on the inside. And that can actually affect your confidence and continuing in the journey. So I would say showing grace to yourself is definitely being graceful, showing grace, allowing your time, allowing yourself room to error, so that way you can learn from those different mistakes is important. So for number three, I would say that a person must remain motivated, and that motivation must come from the inside. It's great to have guys. It's great, like I said, I'm particular about those I have around me, and it's great when they're egging me on. It's great when they're saying, "Yes, Deanna, you can do it. You can do it. We got you." That's great. But at the end of the day, it's the motivation I have on the inside is what will keep me going when those people are not around. So a person must find that motivation from the inside and remain motivated. So I would say being adaptable, being graceful, and being motivated are three essential components for this health and wellness journey.
Ooh, okay, so a lot of different things you shared that I can relate to that I think is important. And I think one thing is I definitely agree with the grace on the journey and learning from it. I think at times we beat ourselves up and got to get back on track. But the last one that you shared is motivation. Sometimes it's so hard to have that inner motivation. Everyone outside can be motivating you, but it truly starts within.
Mm-hmm.
So, thinking about your experience as a health and wellness coach, and there may be someone watching this who is struggling with their weight loss journey, whether they are struggling to get started or they're struggling with consistency, what would be some advice that you would give them to encourage them?
Well, just know it's a mind, as I mentioned before, the mind is a powerful thing. Everything begins in the mind. So just know that, literally say to yourself through various affirmations, I can do it. Regardless if you feel that way at the moment or not, say to yourself, I can do it. It starts there, saying I can do it. Say it as many times as you need to say it. Say it all day. Say it everything. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. And then from there, start planning out different things. Plan out where you're at now in your journey, and then plan out where it is you like to be, and just start making those different changes. Start with the smaller changes, the changes that you feel that are more manageable day to day, and start changing those things around. Whether it's cutting out an extra snack, for example, or just changing the snack to something healthier, for example, drinking a couple of glasses of extra water, whatever the case may be, start off with small changes. And then once you've mastered the small changes, add more changes and just continue on until you've mastered that and just continue on. Because I mentioned it's a continuous journey. There's no such thing as I've made it per se. Just continue on. And then once you get to the point where you start noticing the different changes that you like to see within yourself, just keep on doing it. Keep on doing it. Keep on doing it.
Mhm. Love the affirmations as well. Very helpful. And that kind of ties into, so you talked about self care earlier, and affirmations can be a part of self care. When you think about your journey and living a healthier lifestyle, self care can be a way to reduce stress, but then also, I would assume being healthier can help. So, how has this lifestyle change for you helped reduce stress? Or have you noticed that it's helped with stress management?
For me personally, it's helped with stress management in which I'm feeling healthy and literally feeling good on the inside. That I'm able to manage stressful situations with a clear mind. I'm able to really focus on the things that I need to focus on to get out of that stressful situation. And as I mentioned before, how I manage stress is I incorporate a lot of self care into my life daily. Whether it's, like I said, mentioned healthy living, healthy eating rather, exercise. I'm a person periodically, I like to just take moments and not take days and not do anything. It just rest relax, recuperate, just stay to myself. I have
I
spa
understand.
days. I love to go to just keep myself looking beautiful on the outside. I love getting my nails done. I love getting pedicures. I love just making myself feel as good as I can on the outside, because confidence on the outside will definitely, how you look on the outside definitely affects how you feel on the inside. So whether it's weight or whether it's just aesthetics, whatever the case may be. So I always incorporate various forms of self-care into my life as well to manage stress.
So you mentioned a little bit about self-care again, right? I'm hearing you say that, which I love that because I'm a self-wellness coach and I help women specifically focus on like work-life harmony. Thinking
Mhm.
about myself and others that I know, life be lifing. You got work, you might have kids, you might be a wife, you have other responsibilities, and it feels like it's hard to live a healthy lifestyle, or it's hard to make the time for the gym and the meal prepping. So, how do you
Mhm.
help your clients who are struggling with work life harmony to incorporate that into their lifestyle where they can live healthier? Because it's easy to say, I don't have the time, I'm too busy. So, how do you assist them?
Uh, Coincidentally, so back in 2023, last year, I actually published the ebook, and it's called You Yes You, Comprehensive Self-Care for the Everyday Busy Lifestyle. So that book really focuses on the niche of everyday busy people who don't have time to have self-care, who needs to find time to have self-care. And so what I really talk about in that book is it focuses on how a person can incorporate self-care in a busy schedule, a very, very tight schedule. Whether you busy, like you mentioned, busy with professional duties, personal duties, school, whatever the case may be. A lot of us have from the moment we get out of bed to when we lay back down in bed at night, we have our time consumed with all types of stuff. So I mentioned there just different ways to incorporate self-care into that. And just piggyback on what I have written, one of the ways is just you got to literally carve out time, like whatever your schedule, a person's schedule may be throughout the day. They somewhere along the lines, maybe 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. If you add those 5 minutes here, that 10 minutes there, that 5 minutes there, 10 minutes there, that equals that half an hour. That half an hour, if you rearrange a schedule, I'm pretty sure you can find a way to self care, whether it's just turning the phone off completely and just inhaling and exhaling. That's a form of self-care. Just clearing your mind, just clearing your thoughts. Because self is vital. Self-care is vital for us to live healthy and just for us to live from day to day. So a way to incorporate self-care, as I mentioned, is just to just find time within that busy schedule. You have to create it. Even when you feel that there's no time, there's always time. It's just a matter of managing your schedule in such a way that you're able to use that time for self-care. Even if it's just only a couple of minutes a day or even a couple of minutes a week. Just find that time and say, no, this is me time. This is my time. This is for no one else. This is what I'm going to do for me, myself, and I, and just stick with it.
And I would say that probably ties directly into, like you're saying, that me time. Self care is going to the gym. Self care is
Absolutely.
meal prepping and cooking. Self
Absolutely.
care is, taking yourself to lunch if you wanted to. So just making a time to invest and pouring yourself. And I know it's not easy. I'm in a season where I feel like mentally I'm at a place where like I can really focus on my fitness journey. But I wasn't here based on some other things that were going on. So basically what you're saying is invest in yourself. Even if it's a small amount of time, it starts to build.
Absolutely, because one thing about our body, if we don't invest in ourselves, sooner or later, our body is going to make us invest in ourselves one way or another. So you might as well go ahead and do it voluntarily, because otherwise you're going to be doing it by default because your body will shut down on you. So you,
Very true.
so either way you look at it, you gotta have self care just to live every day.
Okay. Well, Deanna, this is my favorite question of the podcast. And would love to hear from you. If you could have a conversation with your younger self, what would you tell her?
If I could go back to Deanna back in elementary school, high school, and even college, I would say to her to just Love yourself enough to keep yourself a priority. Make sure that you're happy before you try to make someone else happy. Make sure that you love yourself from the inside out. And whatever steps that are necessary to take to do just that, work on it. Whether it may be physically, whether it may be due to whatever trauma, whatever therapy, whatever it may need, whatever it may need to do so. Just love yourself enough to make yourself a priority and just invest in yourself because you're no good for anyone else anyway if you're not good. If you can't pour into someone else's cup if you're empty. So make sure you love yourself, make sure you invest in yourself. Always make yourself a priority first.
Okay. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. That is my favorite question. The love letter to my younger self and just hearing others share the same. So, Deanna, I asked you a lot of questions. You share a lot of knowledge with us today. Is there anything else that you would like to share that you did not get an opportunity to share with us already?
No, I would just reiterate on just the importance of healthy living and diet and exercise. It will literally it's not an easy road to get to grasp the grass. It's not an easy road to stay on, but I promise you, your body, your mind, your emotions will love you for it if you just get on the right path and just continue on. It's not a rat race. The thing about it is once you can run the race as fast as slow as you need to, but once you begin to see those changes in yourself, there's no greater feeling than that. There's no greater feeling than know that 10, 20, 30 plus years from now, you're putting yourself in predicament to be able to be healthy enough to be around for your loved ones. So with that being said, just love yourself enough to want to just take care of yourself as best as you can from the inside out.
All right. Well, how can people connect with you? They want to follow your journey or just connect with you as a coach, or anything is like that. How can we connect with you?
So I am on Instagram. My name on Instagram is I am Deeana Tate. So that's IAMDEEANA TATE. I'm also listed on Facebook under my health and wellness brand, and it's also titled Living. My page is called Living Healthy with DTDEE apostrophe, which stands for Deanna Tate. So I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. Just come follow me and let's get healthy together.
All right. I listen, I'm gonna be following. I'm already following you, but I need the motivation. So I need to be more intentional, make sure the algorithm is showing you so I can be inspired as well. But Deanna, thank you so much for your
You're
time
welcome. You're
again, sharing
welcome.
your wisdom, hopefully
Welcome.
inspiring someone to start their journey or not, give themselves grace because it is truly an individual journey. My
Mhm.
journey is gonna look completely different from yours and
Absolutely.
whoever's next to me is gonna look different. So give yourself grace. And I'm just so excited that we may have an opportunity to change somebody's life with this podcast.
If I
So
can just
thank you
change
again
one
for being a
person,
guest.
yes, absolutely. If I can just change one life, I've done my deed.
Just one. So
Just
thank you so
one.
much for connecting with me. And I look forward to connecting in the future.
Once again, thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
All right. Bye.